This is Sportscentre.
Hey, I'm Luca Celebrate, and today is Bell Let's Talk Day. This kicks off another year of awareness, acceptance, and action, and serves as a national reminder for Canadians to prioritize mental health. We'll have more on Bell Let's Talk Day later in the show, but today we begin in Buffalo, where Bills owner Terry Pegula and GM and President of Football Operations Brandon Beane addressed the media for the first time since the Sean McDermott firing. And Pegula said the decision to fire McDermott happened after the Broncos game.
My decision to bring in a new coach was based on the results of our game in Denver. I saw the pain in Josh's face at his presser, and I felt his pain. I know we can do better, and I know we will get better.
He also added that Josh Allen had no input on the decision to fire McDermott.
He didn't have any input at all. I didn't talk to Josh about this. I talked to him afterwards, and that conversation will stay private, but he had no input in it.
However, when asked about the search for a new head coach, Beane did say Josh would be involved.
We have a group of us that are going to work together to hire the head coach. It'll be Terry, myself, Pete, Brian Gain, Terrence Gray, both of our assistant GMs, and Laura Pegula, and Josh will have some involvement as well.
Now, many have criticized Beane for failing to get Allen in the offense some competent wide receivers. Pegula was quick to defend Beane, specifically when it came to the drafting of Keon Coleman, while also throwing McDermott under the bus with that draft pick.
And obviously with the Keon Coleman signing, which hasn't worked out, how do you answer the fact that you have not given Josh a good enough wide receiver room thus far?
Yeah,
Can I interrupt? I'll address the Keon situation. The coaching staff pushed to draft Keon. I'm not saying Brandon wouldn't have drafted him, but he wasn't his next choice. That was Brandon being a team player and taking advice of his coaching staff, who felt strongly about the player. And, he's taken, for some reason, heat over it and not saying a word about it. But I'm here to tell you the true story.
Beane would later clarify in the presser that Coleman was in fact his pick and said it's on his group to continue to develop the receiver. I've never really seen this kind of press conference before after a head coach gets fired, and it just sounds like they're doing damage control, but I also get wanting to maybe restore a little faith in Beane at the same time, so there's a lot of parts at play here. Over to the ice, where trade season is well underway. With the Olympic roster freeze exactly 2 weeks from now, we're going to start giving you some mock trades. More specifically, one trade each Canadian team needs to make. And today, we're starting with the Habs, who've been rumored to be looking for a second-line center for seemingly forever now. And the noise got louder when Alex Newhook went down earlier in the year. But even in his absence, they've had one of the top scoring offenses in the NHL, thanks in large part to the emergence of Oliver Kapanen, who's filled in nicely alongside Slavkovsky and Demidov on the second line. That being said, it's hard to know whether he can sustain this success come playoff time. And if the Habs are serious about contending this season, which it certainly seems like according to our own Craig Button, then we'd love to see them trade for Nazem Kadri. For starters, Kadri himself seems open to a move. According to our own Darren Traeger, his camp has been talking to Craig Conroy about potential trade destinations. But more importantly, he's got as good of a playoff track record as anyone available. And for a team that hasn't had much recent playoff history, bringing in a guy like Kadri just seems like a natural fit. Now, what a trade package could look like is another question entirely. He's absolutely a guy you want on your team in general, but for the playoffs especially. The intensity that he brings, he can play a skilled but also gritty style of play as someone that's going to mix it up and defend teammates, that might give you a big hit to get some momentum, that will probably score you a big goal when you need it. He is the perfect player. I have nothing but great things to say about Kadri. Sticking on the ice, we've got a big one tonight as the Leafs host the Red Wings. And Toronto comes into this one looking to avoid the season series sweep, as they're winless against Detroit this season, being outscored 12-7 in those contests. And if the Leafs are going to climb the Atlantic Division standings, A win tonight would go a long way. But realistically, they need to have their sights set on the wild card, where they're 2 points behind Boston and 3 behind Buffalo, but the Leafs do have a game in hand on the Bruins. Now, one bright spot for Toronto lately has been the play of Austin Matthews, who's scored in 3 straight games and 4 of his last 5, and has 11 goals in his last 12 games. I love that everyone was freaking out about Matthews earlier in the season. Like, again, he was hurt, he went through it, he's one of the best goal scorers of all time, and all of the people that thought like, oh yeah, this is just like the downward trajectory of his career now, just look so foolish because he's got 25 goals this season and is just dominating again. Now joined by our gambling guy, Wes Chang, to talk some Raps. Good to see you, Wes.
What's happening, Luca?
Okay, Wes. Emmanuel quickly made history last night. He's in the same sentence with Wilt, and it was officially the most efficient 40-point game in NBA history. So, Wes, let's ride the wave. Give us a quickly bet for tonight.
Yeah, if I had to pick anything, I'd go back to IQ shooting, which you're getting at a really good price on FanDuel right now. Now, we know what type of season IQ's had. It's been an absolute roller coaster, but here's hoping you can catch him while he's hot. This is a back-to-back. He just had this game against the Warriors 24 hours ago. That form hopefully translates against a Sacramento defense that's the 4th worst in the NBA. But the other note that matters to me, RJ Barrett is hopeful to be back in the lineup. When these two play together, IQ takes 1.5 more 3-point attempts per game, so that volume uptick hopefully matches with his current hot streak.
All right, Wes, what's your best bet for Raps Kings?
I got a spicy little revenge game narrative for you. I like DeMar DeRozan to go over his scoring prop. The track record against the Raptors is just undeniable. 6 games over the last 2 seasons, he's averaged just under 27 points. His scoring average during those 2 seasons was 23. The other reason why I like this bet, though, Keegan Murray got knocked out of the lineup 8 games ago. DeMar scored 20 more points in 6 of those last 8. The other factor you might consider, Domantas Sabonis, he's back in the lineup. Is he going to take away usage from DeMar? Well, Sacramento's on the second night of a back-to-back as well. I'm willing to bet Sabonis will sit, get rested for this game. Few extra shots should be available tomorrow, and I think he brings it against his former team.
Wes Chang, pleasure as always.
Hey, thanks for having me.
You can watch the Raptors and Kings tonight on TSN. Coverage begins at 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific. As we mentioned off the top, today is Bell Let's Talk Day. And this year's theme is taking a moment for mental health, which is focused on taking moments that will support mental well-being. With more on this, here's the Shift's Kayla Grey with Dr. Kensa Gunter of NBA Mind Health.
It's structuring practices, it's structuring the team schedule in a way that allows for more downtime, that allows for people to have space in order to do what they need to do to practice and train and do the conditioning, but also to schedule in time where they're off, where they're away from the gym or away from the field or away from the pool, right? Like that can come from the coaches and how they set up the schedule and in what they encourage, right? Mm-hmm. Athletes listen to and pay a lot of attention to what their coaches say. So if you have a coach that's encouraging rest, if you have a coach that's encouraging recovery, if you have a coach that's encouraging step away and do something other than whatever the sport is for a day, that's a powerful message that says doing those things does not get in the way of your training. It actually may help and enhance it, right? And certainly when I think about teammates and how we can try to create a healthy environment for each other, certainly it lives in how we show up, but the things that we say, the language that we use, the way that we encourage one another, the way that we can share. If I'm having a tough day, I can share, yeah, today I'm probably at a 6, right? Like I'm here and I'm gonna give you all I got, but it's giving ourselves permission to be honest about where we are, what we need, seeking support from others, and still showing up to the extent that we're capable of showing up, right? Me telling you I'm a 6 for today doesn't mean I'm not gonna be a good teammate. It just means I'm letting you know where I am. So you might give me some additional encouragement today. I might end up giving you additional encouragement tomorrow, right? So trying to create an environment on a team that's safe, that's healthy, that's supportive, right? In addition to being competitive and intense and holding high standards sometimes means we recognize where we are, we respect that, we give what we got, and we come back and we live to see another day.
This year, Bell is investing $10 million in Canadian mental health initiatives, increasing its total support to $194 million since 2010. That's all for today. I'll see you right back here tomorrow at 3 Eastern, noon Pacific. Have a great day.